Tidal. It's the streaming service that everyone in the world is on, right? According to Kanye. But maybe they are falsifying their numbers. This is very interesting. There was a report that said Beyonce and Kanye West listener numbers on Tidal have been manipulated to the tune of several hundred million false plays, which has generated massive royalty payouts at the expense of other artists. Here is the math that they broke down for you. They said Tidal claimed that West's album had been streamed 250 million times in its first 10 days of release in February of 2016, while claiming it had just 3 million subscribers. And since it's a subscriber-only service, that means that a claim would have meant that every subscriber played the album an average of 8 times per day, and that Beyonce's album was streamed 306 million times its first 15 days of release in April of 2016. There was a strong denial from Tidal, which we'll get to, but first thoughts, 5 words or less.
A tidal wave of lies.
Kanye's album wasn't that good.
A tsunami of drama.
Maybe it's password sharing, you know?
Yeah. Oh
People
yeah, like a
share
Netflix
passwords.
situation.
Right.
Yes.
And it's just like, hey, or it's a mix of both of them. Like, I know that HBO and Netflix have all said, listen, we just are in the stage of our business where we're trying to get as many people to watch stuff on our platforms as possible. Right. We're not gonna go after people for, lies. However, or for sharing passwords. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, yes,
it's still a lot.
Super possible. It is a lot. I looked through the digital forensic report.
Good for you.
Because it's a really comprehensive report put together by a Norwegian Institute of something of Science and Statistics or whatever, and it's really comprehensive, and it definitely seems that some of the numbers are being padded. Specifically in comparison, one of the charts that they broke down was Rihanna's album and Kanye West's album, and how that looked over time, just sort of like the ticker of how people will listen and how it sort of drops off when people have listened, and that never occurred for Kanye West's album. And they were saying, they're like, if we can agree that Rihanna and Kanye West are comparable in their popularity and in their fan bases who will go to a streaming service for them, then we should agree that there should be at least a similar trend occurring here, and that doesn't happen is a little suspicious. And they really outlined everything, and it's kind of confusing. I'm not good with math or statistics, but you can find the full report that breaks everything down, because I know Tidal is vehemently denying this, but it really looks like the numbers from this objective source, they've said that they don't have any, there's no involvement, no ties or anything. They were commissioned to do the report by someone that Tidal says that hates them or whatever, but this was an objective institute that did the report.
Here is the response from Tidal, which says, this is a smear campaign from a publication that once referred to our employee as an Israeli intelligence officer, which is really the worst thing you can call someone, and our owner as a crack dealer, which is really the best thing you can call someone. We expect nothing less from them than this ridiculous story, lies and falsehoods. The information was stolen and manipulated, and we will fight these claims vigorously, according to Tidal. Do you buy it?
Well, okay, so playing devil's advocate, Tidal is owned by who? Jay-Z, yes? Kanye, Rihanna, Beyonce.
Whichever that like murderer's row of like Madonna and like all the people that were around the table in their original ad.
So you're going to want to have your brand and the people affiliated with their brand do well, And I mean, back in radio, you had payola. Record labels would play to pay, and I saw so much of that happen, because I worked in radio for 10 years, where you would have RCA, Interscope, all these people would come to your market. Oh my gosh, we got this new Lloyd Banks G-Unit, Interscope, right? Yo, let's go to dinner. Here's some TVs. Make sure you play Up in Here or in the club.
And it works, right?
Exactly, because
it absolutely works.
Money.
We can all like go through those songs that we're like, I don't really like this when it first starts playing, but then it's just on everywhere so much all the time.
And Jay-Z, I mean, with Rockaware and Iconics brands, selling off all the drama he's had in the past when it comes to kind of shady business dealings, one could speculate that this very well could have happened. Tidal was like the biggest thing when it came out. When Lemonade was only streamed on Tidal, all these things that they did to cement their exclusivity of coolness, really leans on this.
It really alienated me though, as like a person who likes music, right? How did you feel when they were like, only on Tidal you gotta sign up?
Yeah, I think it's hard for them to compete with somebody like Spotify, where they offer a free option. And that you can't stream Lemonade, but you can play other Beyonce music, you can play a lot of the music. So it's hard for them to compete with that, and I still have Spotify. I refuse to buy Tidal. So,
Here's one of the ways in which they think people falsified the claim. They said one user played The Life of Pablo tracks 96 times within one day, according to the report, and 54 of them coming in the middle of the night.
Right.
So
just some light sleeping music.
Yeah. I did listen to that recently. Like I was like, I don't think I've listened to the whole album all the way through. And I just remember going,
yeah.
I wish that was so much better.
I mean,
Same with Reputation,
I know
really.
plenty of people that loved Life of Pablo and plenty of people that loved Lemonade. I think it's just more telling in that the trends, even if you love an album, in time you will eventually stop listening to it as much as you did when it first came out. And that we didn't really see that with Life of Pablo. That's the chart that I can remember most distinctly. Is very suspicious because again, if Rihanna, people went crazy when her album came out. People were listening to it, and then in time, something else comes out. You find out which songs you like and which songs you don't. I find it very hard to believe that people were streaming every single song on Life of Pablo throughout the night, being like, "This one never gets old."
Lemonade, look. Go ahead.
Sorry. Also, something pretty sketchy that was said in that is that they actually contacted one of the Tidal subscribers to be like, did you listen to this album 8 times? Did you listen to this one song however many times? And she was like, that doesn't sound right. She's like, I definitely did not. So something's not adding up.
And
here.
there's real money that gets siphoned off as a result of this. $2.5 million for Lemonade streams in February and March of 2016. Tidal allegedly paid Universal around $2.3 million in royalties for the Life of Pablo streams. This is money that they are then, I guess, just able to drum up by having potentially and allegedly some extra little bit of programming that just auto plays or auto generates stats.
It's smart. I mean,
and it's so illegal though.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of like those money movies where I think it was the Big Short where they do, or maybe it was Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know. Again, not good with math, but it was something like where if you invest 0.001 of a penny, people won't notice, and it's a way of like getting rich over time.
I think that's Office Space
or something. I don't know, something
that's
like that.
That's what they do in Office Space.
But I think that they were like, oh, we'll just do a very little padding of it. No one's really going to notice because these are very popular albums, and someone just missed the decimal point, and so it's like, wait, this is insane.
Right, that is literally the premise of Office
It's been a
Space.
while
Yeah, it's
since
like
I've seen
just
it.
like there's fractions of a cent, and then they mess up the desk. Speaking of Jay-Z, you brought up Jay-Z and the SEC. Here's a photo of Jay-Z in case you forgot what he looks like. That's him on the left.
Beyonce's
Who's
like,
next to him?
Who's Becky? Is that Becky with the good hair over
Oh, don't you dare.
I will cut
Jason.
you.
He went there.
He is going to be testifying before the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, over this like Rockaware.
Right.
He
Who's wearing
sold
that?
it. I know, but there's just to clear that up. He had been subpoenaed. He basically said, I can't do it. I got a busy schedule. I'm preparing for our family's joint tour. But he will be testifying on May 15th. They lost so much money after that. The company, and you're wondering like, why is Jay-Z doing this? Do you know really quickly? Like,
I don't know why he sold the company, but
he sold it to Iconics, and then Iconics is like, we lost a lot of money because Jay-Z just kind of disappeared.
Right, and he had a fragrance too that flopped. That's been a trend with Jay-Z.
But he's being called in to clarify the stuff before the SEC. It's not like the federal government is suing him. They're just angry that he hasn't showed up to court when they asked him to.